Am I audible? Am I clear? Mr. Jyotiram, am I clear? Yes, okay. Yes, yeah, yes. I think I can start. Okay, so I'll just give a small introduction. Yes, myself Sivachandran. My all my basics were from Chennai, my schooling and my professional qualification. I'm a chartered accountant professionally. I also completed my company secretaryship. I have a UG degree in BCom. So I finished my CA and then I started preparing for the civil services examination. Firstly, I'll start from how I chose commerce and what I did after choosing commerce. My decision to choose commerce was driven by my professional backing in the. Sorry. Okay. So yes, my decision to choose commerce and accountancy as the optional was firstly driven my professional backing. I took commerce optional during my schooling times. So since 11th grade, I had reading in the subject. So I was completely comfortable with it. So I went with it. When I was actually taking commerce, I went through the discussions made by several aspirants and also toppers with respect to choosing optional. The common thing that they put forward in deciding an optional subject was that a particular optional subject should be scoring and it should be they should be able to cover the entire syllabus within 3-4 months time. So these were the considerations, but one important consideration which I feel people are missing out is that they fail to choose an optional which is in alignment with their basic qualification. uh, Not all the UG degree holders are very lucky. When we take people who are bachelors, who are holding bachelor's degree in engineering from computer science department, they don't have that particular optional in the list of optionals that are given. But those who have taken BCom or MCom, CA, CS, even lawyers, you have this advantage of commerce and accountancy optional. Most of what is covered in these professional degrees or UG degrees are only reflected in the optional syllabus. If we take, there are two papers. The first paper we have income tax, financial reporting, costing, strategic financial management, financial markets, and auditing. So these we study in depth at final stages in as far as a CA or a CS is concerned, or even a CWA. But here, when it comes to the optionals of UPSC, the expertise is only of inter level, like that is the BCom honors level. So it is not of much difficulty if you were to do a in-depth reading of these subjects during your UG days. And also, comparatively, this optional has been a scoring one, though not high scoring. You don't get extremes in this optional. In the recent years, you must have seen the highest somewhere ranges around 280, 290. But then the average is quite high. In certain optionals, people get 320, 330, but you also see the other extreme at the other end of the spectrum, like 190, 200. Such things don't happen in commerce. Minimum you keep scoring somewhere around 250, 255. So the chances of this option pulling your ability to get into the final list is very, very limited. So my exhortation is that if you have a basic degree in commerce, or if you have a professional degree in commerce and you like the subject, not hate it, if you have a basic understanding of the concepts, you can very much go for it, because the time that you will be saving because of choosing this optional is enormous. That can be put into GS General Studies paper. In this optional, if you are able to put in 3-4 months of preparation at the outset, that is more than sufficient to gain 250 to 55, 240 to 250 marks in the main examination. And going forward, once I selected this optional subject, to be honest, I was in the dark, because I'm from the state of Tamil Nadu. So there are not many aspirants who choose this optional. 2021 was my first attempt when I gave my mains. And I was hoping that, because during the mains examination, all the students from particular optional are made to sit behind each other or close to each other. So I was hoping that at least then I'll be meeting an aspirant from commerce and accountancy optional. But even on the day of optional exam, I did not find one, because I was the only aspirant writing that optional from my state. So that was the difficulty, because there was no guidance, neither guidance nor any peer support for that optional. That was when I enrolled with the postal course of Rankers Academy. So I got the materials for paper 1, paper 2. So when you ask me to rate the material on a scale of 10, I'll give it a 9. So they have a high quality material. the materials are based on the previous year questions. First, let us talk about the paper 2, then we'll move on to paper 1. So paper 2, if you were to take up the previous year questions and compare it with the question papers of the recent times, maybe 2024, 23 or 22, you'll find that almost all the questions are being repeated, because these subjects, though there are developments in these subjects like HRM, industrial relations, most of the questions are being repeated from the static portions that existed 10-15 years back. So since the materials are revolving around these PYQs, the good study and the revision of these materials are more than sufficient for you to gain good marks. So for paper 2, as far as paper 2 is concerned, I would suggest that you can blindly go ahead with this Ranker's books rather than going for multiple sources, because you can save time, and also this gives you a comprehensive coverage of all the portions from the examination perspective. That is the most important aspect. When coming to paper 1, I had again the paper, I subscribed to the postal course. I practiced almost all the sums from the Ranker's material, but then I somewhere felt that the diversity of sums were missing somewhere. So because if I had come to the offline classes or online classes of Rankers, maybe I could have got exposure to much sums. But since I was only the postal course student, I did not have much exposure. So I also used a little bit of the CA Institute books. So they have good quality sums. When you go to subjects such as accounting, you have amalgamation, internal reconstruction. So the diversity of sums in those materials are complete. So there is nothing much that can be asked outside from those books. You in the practice manual, there are some 20-25 sums. It consists of all the kind of adjustments that you need to be knowing. If we were to practice those sums at least once or twice, we'll be able to crack any kind of sum in the examination. So we have the 20 marker or a 25 marker from amalgamation, so that you can be that you will be able to finish it off within the time that is allotted for the particular sum. So that is the advantage. And the next thing is that the difficult thing to talk as the last person in a public talk event is that the first person would have already covered everything. Since Monica is a topper, she has already covered everything as well, and it is difficult for me to talk. But I'll at this point I'll share the mistakes which I did over a course of 4.5 years, because this is my 5th attempt. And it took me time of 4 years. So if I am able to share my mistakes, maybe you can learn from it. One common mistake is that I concentrated only on preparation. I kept studying again and again and again, but I failed to practice. How much ever knowledge we have to reduce it to writing within a duration of 3 hours on the examination day. That matters the most. That only reflects your merit and your academic knowledge to the examiner. So it becomes very important that you sweat out by practicing during examination, during your preparation stages. In that regard, especially during the Rankers classes are, yes, yes, Mr. or Miss Kushba, I think you are unmuted. Maybe you can mute so that there is not much disturbance. Yes, thank you. We were talking about yes, paper 1. Okay. This time we had this intensive enriched mains test series program. Earlier years, it used to be that we had 2 cycles of full length test in commerce and standard test series. This time we had daily test series. Daily tests, wherein the entire syllabus of commerce and accountancy was broken down into micro topics. So the prelims ended on June 16th. June 20th, this test series started. Every day we had tests, June 20th, 21st, until August 10th or 11th, I think we had the test. So since entire portion was broken down into smaller topics, we had multiple advantages. One was that I diligently followed this test, so I covered the portions, entire portions. I was able to finish it off by August 10th. And secondly, since I covered it in a micro scale, I was able to take notes during the main stage itself, right after the prelims, because I used to take notes every attempt, but then I felt that somewhere my notes needs to be refined every year. So I kept taking newer notes every year, and with this enrichment mains test series, I found note making easier because it was in micro capsule preparation level. And thirdly, since I was also writing answers every day, I got a sense of my presentation levels, and also I was able to manage time properly. In the previous attempts, the major mistake which I did was I couldn't complete the paper. Paper one was easy enough. Had I been given 3.5 or 4 hours, I could have scored even maybe 170, 175. But the challenge is time management. You have to finish the entire 250 marks in 3 hours. That is the challenge. For that, not only knowledge is enough, but you need practice. Sometimes luck may be that, as Monica was talking, the sum which we practiced before examination appeared during the examination stage, and we were able to finish it within limited time. So this is the importance of practice. Not only studying, but you need to keep practicing. It helps in developing muscle memory. That is one thing. And yes, importance of note making. So I spoke about importance of practice. Now next to note making. The time which we have before the examination is very limited. So we just have 5 days, but the portion is very voluminous. During the course of our CA days at the inter level, we have 7 subjects on 7 different days with 1 day holiday between each and every subject. But for this optional examination, we write all the 7 subjects in one paper on a single day. That is for paper one. And paper two, again, we have another 4 voluminous subjects on a single day. So we have to revise so many topics, so many provisions. Income tax in itself will take months of preparation, but we have to revise it within a period of 5 days before examination. So given this volume that needs to be revised, note making becomes very important. For example, if we take paper one, we have 6 subjects in that. Per subject, you need to have quality notes of around 25 to 30 pages. So that helps you better in revising for the examination. So when you go to the examination hall, you can just replicate whatever you studied the day before. In this regard, note making, it is not necessary that you need to have detailed notes, because it is sufficient if you just have a broad index of all the topics. For example, when you take paper two, the content that is there in the book in itself is voluminous. So you can just make an index, and the day before exam, you can just revise, skim through the index, and just recollect what you have read in a particular topic, because going to the exam hall and recollecting a new topic is very difficult. So the index is very important, and not necessary detailed notes are necessary. But unfortunately, I didn't bring my notes today, or neither have I scanned it now. Maybe in the future course of time, I'll try to scan it and I'll share it across with sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, with respect to this question, honestly I didn't study any material other than Ranker's materials. I studied the Ranker's materials, and this attempt, sir also gave us the value-added materials, wherein the current events, examples, and quotes related to particular topics were given. So that helped us in giving that edge, because the competition is becoming higher every year. So we need to do that value addition job in order to get a good score in whichever paper. Yes, sir, please.
So, what is my learning, and even for you also? What is my learning, and even for you also, is focus on one source. रैंकर्स क्लासेज ने, मतलब आर एस अग्रवाल ने पिछले 25 साल में ये मेटल तैयार किया है, अभी भी तैयार कर रहा हूँ. अगर आपको कुछ नया करना है तो कॉर्पोरेट एग्जाम्पल्स ऐड कीजिए, जो हमने अलग से दे दिया आपको. आप पावरफुल कोटेशंस कीजिए, दो अलग से दिए. और भी जो वैल्यू एडिशन करंट अफेयर्स देते हैं वो फोकस कीजिए. नए मेटेरियल पे रीड करेंगे, आपको वही चीज़ें मिलेंगी, दूसरे फॉर्म में मिलेंगी. अल्टीमेटली जो आपने पहली बार पढ़ा है वही याद रखेंगे और वही लिख पाएंगे. तो नया करना है तो पावरफुल कोटेशंस लिखिए, कॉर्पोरेट एग्जाम्पल्स लिखिए, न्यूमेरिकल एग्जाम्पल्स लिखिए, करंट अफेयर्स लिखिए. और अब हम जो आगे क्वेश्चन प्रोवाइड करते हैं टेस्ट सीरीज वगैरह में, उसमें हम चैट जीपीटी से बेस्ट आंसर्स निकालते हैं. तो आप मॉडल आंसर्स लिखिए वहां से. राइट, ओवर टू.
So that's some valuable piece of advice, sir, which I followed during my preparation stages. That really helped me. Yes, practice, 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 and practice from limited source. Because unlike few other optionals, if we take political science and international relations, unfortunately the students have to update themselves every year. International relations keep happening. But in commerce and accountancy, when you take paper 2, it is completely static in nature. Though one or two questions related to current events are asked, it is completely static. So if you see the theories which were propounded some 50, 100, 150 years back, we see Fayol's theory, Taylor's theory, they are centuries old. So that is being asked today. So enormous amount of study has been done, and it has been concised into small materials. Everything is available, and so revision from limited sources will help us in scoring high marks. Yes.
People can ask questions. So first, you can ask questions from Siva. So both can reply.
Yes, sir.
Since you are having mic,
Mike.
so you can ask questions.
And one last thing before we can ask question, one small addition. With respect to paper one, maintain something called library of adjustments. So I have been doing this since my CA days. For example, when you go to accounting, I'm just giving an example for accounting subject. Take an amalgamation sum, you have multiple adjustments in that. Few adjustments, they are just straightforward. Anybody can do it. Even person who's in 11th or 12th can do it. But when we come to this level, there are few adjustments which we don't even understand. With the English language is difficult to understand. So those things we can take up, we can make a note wherein we create a library of adjustments. So that we can revise before the examination, because revising all the sums, all the large sums is very difficult. So you can make this library of adjustments. Yes. So I'm done with sharing whatever I know. Maybe questions, if you have any, you can put it forward.
Can you make Telegram channel share?
Okay. Yes. Actually, you can. She also has a mic. I can. Oh, it's a different mic. Okay. So,
Telegram channel.
it is all previews after prelims or before, and how much time? Yes. Yes, actually, we were contemplating on that, but like last one week, 10 days were little hectic, so we couldn't do that. But going forward, I think that should be done. Only then we will be doing justice to the aspirant community. We'll definitely do that. To Miss Simran. Yes. Next, Miss Shaurya. Ms. Shaurya, it depends upon the time. With respect to PYQs, we did it after prelims only. During mains preparation, every day, maybe 1.5 hours we dedicated to PYQ solving. We did it so that we did not lose track of what we studied, because if you had to study a subject on day X and after X plus the 30 days, we forget it completely. So solving PYQs every day after prelims helps us keep a hold over it. Uh, cool. And how much time you devoted to optional after prelims? So it was like 40-60. We dedicated 40% of our time to optional and 60 percentage to GS. Yes, yes. The question was, is what is the correct time to consolidate notes? The perfect timing, if you ask me, would be to consolidate it during the mains preparation, but then you need to have notes, and you should have studied at least once or maybe twice before the prelim stage, because as I was talking, it is voluminous. It is virtually impossible to make notes for all the topics during the mains time. So you can make basic notes, and when you come to the main stage, as you keep revising, you can keep consolidating the notes into a smaller and smaller note. Next, Ms. Komal. Sir, if we are weak in numericals, then also subject, sir, I think, should be taken. Actually, to that question, weak in numericals in the sense, maybe because you're not having the practice. If you can go through the syllabus, if you feel that after preparation that you'll be stronger, you can go in for the subject if you have a basic study of the subject. Because being weak or strong is just a temporary phenomenon based on your current levels of preparation. If you can prepare on that, I'm sure you will become stronger. And as I was talking, this option has multiple advantages. You can go in for that. Sir, I'm a BCom student. Can I take this optional? Yes, very well. As sir was talking, Miss Garima Lohia, she was a BCom graduate, and she scored exceptionally good marks in optional 275. And because she took commerce, she did not have to spend more time for optional. She did it in GS, and I think she scored somewhere around 470 something, sir. That was highest among the high. Yes, highest. So that gave her the highest rank in the country, AR2. Yes. So maybe Monica can answer the following questions, or shall I continue doing?
Yeah. Active. Now, yes.
Is my voice audible now?
Change the shift कर दिया. In the meantime, it's so complex.
My hand. Is my voice audible? Okay, so the question I want to answer a previous question, sir, where someone asked about solving PYQ before prelims and how much time. Yes. So to Shaurya Arwal, so basically for me, I didn't. Yes. So Shaurya Arwal has asked that, did you solve PYQs after prelims or before prelims, and how much time you devoted to optional after prelims? So for the second part of the question, as Shiva said, we devoted 60-40. Only 40% of the time we devoted for optional and 60% for GS. Don't go with the strategy of first finishing optional and then starting GS. Don't go with that strategy. Divide your day into half, and then in the first initial period, devote more time for optional. And as the exam comes closer, devote more time for GS. I think sir also gives the same advice to people who are preparing for mains. He also says the same thing. Till August mid, you prepare more time for optional, and after August mid, you start preparing more time for GS. And the first part of the question, did you solve PYQs after prelims or before prelims? So the first attempt, I didn't solve anything. In this attempt, what I did was I solved the test series. So whenever I'm reading a topic, the PYQs, the topics, I started to solve. So which says that whatever topics which I've studied before prelims, that is until March, I wrote the test. So whatever test I've written till that time, I solved those PYQs along with the topics that I studied. So this is one thing I wanted to address. Sir, I think we can go for the...
I'm BCom student. Can I take this option?
Yes. So there is no bar that only CA can do it, BCom can do it, or anybody else can do it. So basically, we need the understanding of the subject commerce. That is more important. So if you are someone who is able to understand graph and you have a natural interest towards this subject, I think you can go ahead and take it. You need not start to feel less confident because there are a lot of CAs in the group, like in your preparation circle, who are taking commerce and you are only BCom. You don't have to worry in that way because everybody is ultimately going to read the same set of sources and materials, and everybody is going to get only 3 hours to present themselves. So only that aspect you have to work on, not worry about the degree or any other thing.
I want to ask, do you feel that CA final level questions are asked? Or IPCC level questions are asked?
Mostly it is CA inter level, and if I have studied BCom in a regular college, sir.
Oh, BCom level?
Yes, sir. I have studied BCom in a regular college, so I feel that whichever sums in semesters we used to write, those are also reflected in the optional paper. So you don't have to think yourself in the standard of CA inter also. It is even more simpler than CA inter. And someone has asked that I'm weak in numericals. Then also this subject should be taken. So basically 500 marks we are going to write, and close to only 100 to 120 marks we will be having numerical. So the percentage of numerical is lesser. And in that also, repetition of PYQ is more. So I feel that for that particular limited scope of numerical, you can, if you practice, as Shiva said, if you practice, it will be more good, and you can easily improve that weakness into strength. So you don't have to worry if you're weak in numericals.
Nipun.
Yeah, I think you answer this question.
And sir or ma'am, what does analyzing PYQ means? It would be better if you can explain with an example. So analyzing PYQ in the sense, we just took a stock of what are all the questions that were asked in the previous attempts. So as I was telling earlier, our subject is mostly static in nature, and when it be it numericals or the theoretical questions, nothing new is invented every year. So the same questions are being recycled every year and again. So if a particular costing sum is given, if you were to refer some CA books or maybe some olden day costing books, you will find the sum there. So, so analyzing PYQ means we go through the sums, we practice it once, and if they are new, we just take notes from it. So this is what we meant by saying that.
How do you GS, for how you did GS from which coaching?
With respect to GS, any subject, I didn't go to any coaching classes. My preparation was solely self-preparation.
Very good.
But only the test series I used to take from multiple coaching institutes. When it comes to in 2000 for prelims test series 2020 and 2021 attempt alone, I took the test series. I took it from Shankar IAS. And when it comes to optionals, I took it from Rankers in 2022, 3 and 4. 21, I opted for Vajram just to understand the diversity of questions that are being put forward. And in 2023 attempt for GS, I took up the Vision's mains answer writing program.
How to make sure that we are clearing prelims, looking at the uncertainty at prelim stage, what different did you do for prelims? So basically, it is very true that CA Mayank has asked this question. So it is very true that the prelim stage is very, very uncertain. So we can't predict whether we are clearing, seeing all the differences and everything. So I feel that one thing we can do is consistent efforts and analyzing PYQ for prelims. This last, the 2024 prelims attempt, the difference that I made is I solved a lot of mock tests. I solved close to 55 to 60 mock test papers. And apart from that, 30 years of PYQ question papers. 30 years means UPSC and also the CAPF and CDS question papers I solved. After solving this question paper, close to 90 question papers, what I did was revise the prelims question paper again and again before the prelims exam. So this was the different thing I did this time, and it worked out it worked out well for me this time. And one thing is with respect to prelims, don't get, not just for prelims, don't get disheartened with any marks or any scores, prelims or mains or wherever. Don't get disheartened, because ultimately the final exam or the final marks or the outcome is more important. What is important is consistently putting your efforts and learning from the mistakes and correcting it. That is more important. So next question.
Yes, I want to add on to whatever Monica said. Yes, test writing is more important. There are two things why we should keep practicing test. One is that we get a hold of what kind of questions are being asked and how to handle it, even if we are not very clear about the contents that are given in the question. Second thing is that you need to keep taking notes from the prelims mock test that you're preparing, because my preparation, though I prepared a little bit from the static books, though I was aware of the basic concepts for the current events and other aspects which were not covered in the static books, I relied solely on these mock tests. We took the 30 to 40 mock tests, and among in that 20 to 25 were full length tests from different open source materials. We took the mock tests, and in that we took notes. For example, if there's one question that is being asked, it is not about a single content, but multiple contents are there. You have 4 options, and every option has a story behind it. So we need to do a little bit of analysis. So for example, if we take a test of 2 hours, it will take us close to 6 to 8 hours to analyze it. And we took note of it. We had a 120 page booklet, which we revised the day before exams. And that booklet was the most important source, because multiple things were reflected from the booklet.
You asked Mohit Bhai.
Yes. So Mohit Bhai said that, asked that in paper 2, is there a change in trend with regards to pages given? Do we get 3 pages for 20 marks and 2 pages for 15 marks and 3 pages for 15 marks and 4 pages for 20 marks? I think you
That is the element of surprise. There is no hard and fast rule how many pages are being given. Until 22 attempt, it was standardized, because 21, 22 we had the same number of pages. But suddenly in the 23 attempt, for a 20 mark question, the number of pages were 3. So that was one of the main reasons how I was able to complete the paper. It keeps changing. We don't know what is the reason for the change, but it is uncertain again.
Yes. So for this, I think what we should be practicing is to prepare content for 3 pages, so that it is very easy to develop it to 4. And it is not an hard and fast rule that you have to write all the 4 pages. If you are writing relevant content, substantiating with examples, even if they give 4 pages, if you are writing 3.5 pages, it's fine. You don't have to keep writing all the 4 pages. It's not like page filling entirely. You don't have to fill the pages.
Yes.
So
You ask.
The next question. Should we avoid this because UPSC doesn't give much marks? Avoid this in the sense?
Sir,
Avoid what?
Avoid what? Okay,
No, no,
maybe
that's the next
maybe the
question.
question
Revision
can be
strategy.
asked more specific. We'll answer it later.
Yes.
Yes.
So you want to ask your question more clearly. So revision strategy, Lalit, revision strategy.
Revision
So,
strategy.
Yes.
Yes, so for revision strategy, as I was saying earlier, we need to have good quality notes. During our preparation days itself, we need to make small notes, maybe for a 180-page booklet. Initially, you can have a 50-60-page booklet. Then as you revise it once again, maybe you can curtail it to 30 to 40 page. And finally, a 20-page booklet for a 180-page large book would suffice. So 1:9 ratio, if you are able to do it, that will be good. And there would be certain content or subject areas wherein making detailed notes would be difficult. So in those cases, just make an index of the different topics that are there. Just the index will help you to recollect those points whichever you have studied earlier. So these two things you can be doing it.
How many revisions you did? Commerce.
Yeah, I did 2 rounds, sir, for paper 2 and 3 rounds for paper 1, sir.
Okay.
Since I was doing multiple attempts there, it is like in this attempt, technically I would have done 10-12 revisions.
10-12 revisions.
Because I have been
I'm
studying all
studying
these years. That's why.
And with respect to this revision strategy, I want to add one point. So what you have to do is the first day, if you are reading a content, that is, I'm speaking from a person who's starting optional today. So if you are reading a content on the first day, you would have read for like 4 hours, the entire day you would have read something and you would have made some notes. The next day, before starting with another new content, you should revise the content that you read the first day. So that should be your revision. So what happens is, initially when you are reading something for 4 hours, then after the second time you read it, it becomes 2 hours reading. And then finally you'll be like, in 20 minutes, you know whatever is there in the paper, whatever you've read it. So you know it. Before reading any new content, revise the earlier content. So I always keep the next day early morning for doing revision of the previous day study. So whatever I studied in the previous day, the next day morning I used to get up and revise them quickly. So that will give you a grasp of what you should be doing.
This is personal question.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Mr. Pragdish, we'll share our email later. We can get in touch later. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. And yes, for the revision strategy, for paper 1, also don't forget to make this library of adjustment. It is something that is very helpful, helps in cutting down the time that you use for solving sums during your revision.
Library means a list of
List of adjustments which we perceive to be difficult. For example, if I find a difficult sum, I write the page number, the book in which it is given, and the adjustment which gave me difficulty. So that you can revise.
So you might be having 1 or 2 pages only for complete.
Yes, exactly, sir.
So it will remove your worry of complete.
Yes, sir. We need not keep doing the big sums again and again. Just that adjustment.
That is right. Please elaborate more on revision few days before paper 1. List of adjustment, that is the main thing.
Yes, sir.
Library of adjustments.
Kalpana Joshi.
And one more thing you can do is, before paper 1, that 5 days, only 5 days we'll be having. In that 5 days, you need not go and read the entire book. Don't start reading the entire book. Whatever notes you have made, and wherever you have made mistakes, you should have written it already. That I made mistake here, this I would have written. All those things you revise, because if time is very limited, you cannot be reading the entire book. So in this 5 days, you can do those revisions.
Kalpana Joshi.
Sir or ma'am, were you able to complete syllabus of GS plus optional within a year, as syllabus is so vast, and how much time we should devote to optional specifically? It's a very good and relevant question. Time is definitely a constraint. If you are able to complete even 80% of the targeted syllabus, it is a big thing. So as far as those who are giving their first attempt, this challenge will definitely be there. So don't worry about it. Everybody goes through the cycle. Try to complete all the important topics, especially when it comes to commerce and accountancy. When we take paper 1, there are few subjects and few topics which are totally mandatory. You can cover it. Maybe the lighter topics, sir will be better able to guide on that, like the lighter topics. You can maybe just read it once. You can skip out on the revision.
Okay. Kashish,
I did not practice any numerical in my BCom, but I did in 12. Then how can I proceed in paper 1? So as I already mentioned, paper 1, close to 100 to 120 marks will be numericals and balance will be theoretical. So for that 100 to 120, if you're following the enriched test series thoroughly, like dedicatedly, and PYQs if you're solving currently, and whatever is the sums, whichever is there after each chapter in the book, that yellow book that we have. If you are doing them, I think it's more than enough. You will not feel that numerical is difficult because you have solved whatever is required. So if you do all these three things together, numerical will not be an issue. So you can able to solve it.
Priyanka, tell your answer, I think, yes.
Yes, maybe
I think she is
you
raising
can,
her hand.
maybe Miss Priyanka, you can
No,
unmute
she's
yourself
raised.
and ask the question.
Yes, you can ask.
Unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yes, Priyanka.
Should be
You can ask.
unmute.
I want to ask one question. Whenever I am writing answers, end up with rewriting the same content that material we are given by RS and rank. How can we make them differentiate with another?
The question, I'll repeat it. Tell me if it's okay. You are asking that you write the same content as that of other candidates, that you are unable to differentiate. Is it what you are trying to ask?
Please write your question. That would be the
Yes.
better.
Yes.
That would be better. You answer next. CA Mayank
Bojasya.
Bojasya. CA Mayank Bojasya.
How to sustain for?
Okay. क्या ऊपर गया?
Yes.
No.
Then, over.
Yes.
Scroll down, sir.
Scroll down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Question is how to sustain for 4 to 5 years in this preparation. So that is a question that plagues every civil services aspirant by. Maybe in the first 2-3 years, you will not be having time to even study for this examination because the portions are volume. Maybe 4th, 5th year, the saturation you may reach it. Towards those years, if you are having a qualification, maybe you can take up lighter practice, do some income tax consultancy, GST consultancy. You can divide your day. Maybe 6 to 8 hours you can put in for preparation, 4 to 5 hours for your CA practice. So this way you can sustain, and also think about the purpose as to why you started this preparation, because we all have that purpose and that fire. Finishing CA and starting UPSC in itself is something which makes people raise eyebrows. They don't want to study further after CA because they would have reached a burnout stage. So you must have had a strong purpose when you started this. So you keep recollecting the purpose and make it a point you do that at least once every day. So this will keep you going.
So they can have a print of the purpose also.
Yes.
Paste in front.
They can put it on their walls.
Right. Utkarsh. Man. Yes, you
are. Utkarsh Sahu. Ma'am, sir, how do you deal with tail words of the questions? Example, comment, elaborate, etc., especially in commerce. I think sir has given a 1-pager or 2-pager of how to address each question.
Still you tell yours.
Yes. So whenever there is a question of comment, you should always give your opinion. Your opinion should be there in the answer, either in the conclusion or initially in the introduction itself. So this is with respect to comment. And whenever there is an elaborate, you have to detailedly explain whichever is the argument which is asked. I think for every single word, for evaluate and then for critically evaluate, sir has given one 2-pager. I think after the session you can share it with them, sir. It will be more helpful.
Yes. My family members said prepare for other exams with UPSC. Only UPSC does not give you results. How to prepare for multiple exams? True, because there's always some element of uncertainty in UPSC exams. So you can also prepare for other exams. So most of the syllabus that is being covered in civil services examination is also repeated in other examination when you take CAPF or SSC examinations and so on. So give the primary importance to civil services, then ancillary importance to other exams. Few days before the other exams, maybe 1 week or 10 days, you can exclusively give it for that. Rest of the time you can dedicate for the civil services.
Priyanka Rathore, you answer.
Okay, Priyanka Rathore, when we are writing answers, we end up with reproducing same content. So how can we make our answers better and optional? Yes, so as I already mentioned, we generally used to write same content because we are all reading from the same sources. But what difference you can make is quoting the examples, quoting quotations, and then trying to incorporate whatever you read in newspaper and also in the answers. Current affairs also in the answers. So, for example, moonlighting was one of the mock test questions for me. So when moonlighting is there, if you have read any particular case of how a corporate is handling moonlighting, you can code that in that particular question. So these kind of incorporation will make your answer look different. And presentation wise also, if you are good at making an answer into a diagram format like a graph or a pie chart or something, you try putting that in the answer so that your answer looks different. So anyways, for an answer, if there is a prescribed set of content, everyone will have to produce the same thing. So one thing you can make difference is with respect to the presentation.
Soumya.
Yes.
I'm an aspirant from TN. Which program is better for BCom student in Rankers classes, like postal services or foundation course? Yes, Ms. Soumya, that depends on the levels of your preparation and the personal comfort. Maybe you can get in touch with sir and discuss your current circumstances. Sir will be able to guide you better on that.
Yes. Kashish, did you read NCERT standard book, then make short notes? Okay, so with respect to me, I read NCERTs and standard books. I'm talking about GS. So I read NCERT and standard book. I didn't read all the standard books, but few standard books, and I referred to them whenever there is an like whenever there is an confusion or whenever I am made a mistake in a question or something like that. So I think it's not like you have to read all the standard books or all the NCERT. I mean, NCERT is mandatory, you have to read everything. But standard books, I think you don't have to read every page of it, but you can read the pages which you feel like you need more knowledge or you need more content. You can read them for preparations.
Add-on question: what was the same trend was reflected in paper one? I'm assuming this pertains to the PYQ and the current trends. Yes, almost the same trend. There is no change in the questions that are being asked. If you take up the question, that question you can trace it in some other book or maybe the PYQ. Sheets for answer. Okay, when it comes to paper one, it is totally irrelevant because paper one, it is not about paper filling, because some questions they may have given you 4 pages, but you can complete it in 2.5 pages. So it keeps changing. In paper one, you need to concentrate more on the content and the accuracy of the answer rather than filling up the paper, unlike paper two.
Okay. Okay. CM Mayank, at the prelim stage, how effective are the elimination tricks? As we are all only sure of 35 to 40 questions with 100% surety. Yes, it is really true that after one round of reading the prelims question paper, we feel that we know only 35. For me,
40.
I knew very less. I knew only 25 for sure. 25 to 35. I feel prelims is the most difficult of all these stages for me. So 25 to 30 only I used to know. With respect to the elimination tricks, I didn't use elimination tricks as such, but I used to do this logical guessing. So where you can logically eliminate certain things, not this where I've seen certain videos where if there is only, then that is wrong, or if there is a ministry name, that is wrong. Don't follow such kind of elimination tricks, but you can follow this logical elimination trick. So if this is related to this, it might be wrong. You can follow such kind of an elimination trick.
Simran and past.
Should we avoid this optional because UPSC doesn't give much marks? So again, yes, it is uncertain. Every year, different optionals keep getting high marks, different options keep getting low marks. So there is element of subjectivity that is involved, and also the people who are writing this optional. For example, if some very good, well-prepared person gives attempt at this option, automatically the scores in the option will go up. So your decision to take up a particular option should be based on your current levels of preparation and the passion in the subject. So I would request you to go through the syllabus, think if you will be able to manage reading the syllabus, and also check out the current materials and the support ecosystem that is available for a particular option before choosing it.
Yes, and I want to add one point with to Simran's question. So if you're really considerate about the marks, in other optional, the range of mark is too high. Even though the first marker is scoring 300 or 290, the last marker is scoring like 191, 193. I think Shiva also already told about this. But in commerce, the range of mark is lower. It is like 280 to 240. So anyways, you're going to fall within this bracket. You're not going to get a steep downfall. So you can, if you are worried about marks, you can also consider this for your choosing the optional. Okay, ma'am, this is your second attempt. No, actually, this is my fourth attempt. But after I was giving my first two attempts while I was working full time in a job. So ideally, after starting preparation, this is my second attempt.
I'm not fluent in English. Will this create any hurdle in mains while answer writing? Definitely not. This is a very inclusive exam. So people from different background crack this exam every year. Even this year, one of my friends, he studied in Tamil medium school. His UG was also in Tamil medium background. He took Tamil literature as his optional, wrote his entire mains in Tamil. He came to the personality test and spoke in English. He was able to clear. So language definitely would not be an hindrance. Grammar mark is not being given to grammar, but just the content and the kind of perspective you bring to different problems in the country. So yes, you can go ahead. That wouldn't be a big problem.
Okay. So Kashish, how to increase writing speed? Completing 2 papers in a day is tough. So
Auntie,
for this,
website ಯಾವ್ದು?
I think Spurti can keep
Spurti,
your
you're unmuted.
mute yourself. Okay, so how to increase writing speed? Completing 2 papers in a day is tough. Honestly, it is really tough. But what happens is, as time goes, if you keep practicing, your speed automatically increases. So when you start, initially when you start to solve a 20 marker, you'll be taking close to 15 to 17 minutes. But as time goes, it will be, you will not be realizing it, but you will be finishing it in 13 to 14 minutes as time if you practice it. So I feel it will be fine at the end of the day. You will be able to complete it.
Second part.
Yeah.
Should we go to Delhi or attempting test in a real simulation or at home? So it is not necessary because we were from Chennai. When we prepared, we didn't come to Delhi. Only for the interview, few days before the personality test, we came here so that we could attend a couple of mocks so that we got confidence. And for test series, you can sit and write at home, take guidance from mentors, and if possible, form a peer group of friends who are preparing for this examination. Friends who are really dedicated and committed to this cause of preparation. Once you do it, you gain by sharing and receiving from them. And also mentally, you stay strong when there are hardworking students next to you. So this way, you can have balance in your preparation.
Okay. Kalpana Joshi. Sir, ma'am, were you also working while preparing or completely devoted UPSC? So for me, the 4 attempts, I can separate it into two, because first 2 I was working completely and it was a very hectic job. So the ideal time I spent for civil services is close to 2 to 3 hours in a week. So that was my preparations time. And in the next 2 years, I completely devoted to UPSC. And only after this year mains, I started to work again. So I feel it depends on the nature of your job. If your job is something which is in line with UPSC, or if something which is free, like you're able to take time from the work for preparation, then it is fine to work and do. Otherwise, I feel at least first initial 2 to 3 years, you should be giving your 100% to write the exam. And then you have to take a call would be my suggestion.
Practice mocks or PYQ after completing entire subject or one topic. How you cover current affairs? Okay. So the first part of question, when it comes to optional, it is always advisable that you attempt mocks after finishing the preparation because it is technical in nature. You will not be able to attend a particular mock without studying for it. When it comes to GS, you can do it either ways. If you have a basic knowledge and understanding, you can go attempting mocks because in GS you also need to focus on the presentation aspects. And for how you cover current affairs, for me, newspaper played a very important role. Many have suggested that I don't read newspapers, that I can get a good quality current affairs compilation from coaching institutes. But then newspaper helps you in different aspects. It helps you gain knowledge. It helps you gain control over the English language, and it also helps during the personality test stages because you will be able to direct your thoughts clearly and more cleverly when they ask you analytical questions. So newspaper was one thing, and you can take, of course, I also followed this monthly compilation from coaching institutes, but that was not everything. Current affairs to a great extent, newspapers helped me.
How did you cover your current affairs on commerce?
For current affairs and commerce, we had this value addition materials. So last one and a half years, we have been receiving this value addition materials from rankers. So there we are given examples and quotes. That is on one side, and on the second side, when you read the newspaper itself, you have this business side. So there you are given multiple. There will be news articles. Many of them will be correlative to what you are reading in commerce and accountancy optional. For example, Foxconn firing employees, you can relate it to few topics in industrial relations. So you can always note it down in your book, and you can revise it during your preparation.
CM Mayank has expressed.
Okay, thank you so much, Mayank.
Welcome.
And
Soumya M.
okay, Soumya, should we prepare for optionals daily by devoting 2 to 3 hours, or should we separately allocate 2 to 3 months optional? Okay, Soumya, actually, it depends on the stage now. When you're starting to prepare for optional, and if you're in July to December month, I think you should devote more time for optional and have a strong hold on the subject, on the concepts and everything, prepare notes. And if you're in January to March, April time, you should devote less time for optional and more for prelims and GS. So, and same way in after prelims also, in that 3 months, you initially have to spend more time for optional, and as the exams are nearing, close to 1.5 months before the exams, you have to start preparing more time for GS. So that kind of the differences you have to do in order to balance both.
I did not have any peer group.
No, earlier there is.
Did you give other competitive exams? Yes, few. I actually attempted 2 prelims in Tamil Nadu Group 1 examination, but I couldn't clear the prelims in both the attempts. And I gave 1 attempt in UPSC CAPF examinations. I cleared the written test, but I didn't attend the medical test because I knew I had my eyesight was not meeting the standards required for the CAPFs.
Okay. So did you give other exams? I want to answer this question because after the last prelims, I felt very less confident and demotivated with respect to prelims. So what I did was I started to give other exams. So I gave UPSC EPFO and then RBI grade B and ECGC, that was a direct recruitment. So I gave all these 3 exams. I cleared ECGC exam, but I didn't take up the job because I felt that I should do more justice to the preparation. So I feel 2 years to 3 years we can dedicate it completely for UPSC, because this exam needs such longer time to understand and settle down on all the other things. I think you can go ahead.
I didn't have any peer group. Let me. So those who are having any peer group can announce.
So that you can form
yes,
peer group
right.
here.
You can, if you are having any group, you can share the link of the group here. You can share the link of the group here.
Yes, and with respect to peer group, I will also want to add one more point. So there is something called as the accountability mechanism that we need to exercise. So if there is an enriched test series and sir has given, separated the topics and given tests, if you have someone with you who is like doing it disciplinedly, then you can ask them to be your accountability mechanism. You can say that I finished the test, or you can push them and they push you, vice versa. So if that's the way, if you're going to study together, then ultimately you both will be succeeding in the competition. Because me and Shiva, throughout the preparation, from prelims, mains, personality tests, throughout this journey, we were together. And one day I might be feeling down, one day he might be feeling down, not able to do study or anything. So that time he used to push me and I used to push him. So it should be in the same way, in 2 way. And if you have such an accountability mechanism, I think it will be very good for you to go ahead and pursue the exam, because it's a long marathon. You need someone to be with you all the time to push. So have this kind of a peer group.
One query, Kashish.
Yes.
Yes, the question was from Kashish. So you're talking about you started your preparation 1 year before and you're giving your attempt in 2026, but you are having other commitments as well, and as a result of which your performance is lagging. So the question answer you yourself must be knowing. So you already have given 1 year of preparation, even if not a committed one. You must have put in at least 3 to 4 months of work, and you have 1 more year to come forward. So you'll be giving your attempt only in 2026. Try to separate your day 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for your personal time, and 8 hours for preparation. So this 8 hours of preparation, if you're able to put in consistently every day, that is more than sufficient to clear this examination. Maybe you can average it out. Maybe one day, if you're not able to give your 8 hours, try to reduce your personal time by 2 hours for the next 4 days. So this way you can keep covering your syllabus and perform better.
Okay, so Utkarsh Sahu, I have no doubt regarding commerce, but can you tell me how you prepare art and culture? Thank you. Okay, so with respect to art and culture, I think Nitin Singhania sir has written a book on art and culture, which is available. So what I did was I read one round of that book and I took the key points from those book and made a notes. And that notes is close to 20 to 30 pages. And what I used to do is whenever I added to the 20 to 30 pages of notes. So this I did before the prelims. And once I'm done with that, every new mock I take, I keep adding it to the notes. So this way you can revise all the topics which has come in the mock test also. At the same time, whichever we have read from the core book also. So this can be done for art and culture.
Would you share your mail ID or?
Yes, sir, mail.
We can share the mail.
Yes, yes. So we will share mail ID at our Telegram channel also. Or we can share here. Yes, we can write mail ID here.
Did we type it here?
Yes. So
Monica, wait on this. 26.
Okay.
Manjit is having memory of more, mail ID of more.
All of the
More. Yes,
Okay.
most.
Yes.
Because
Can I-
sending answer keys and
Yes,
answer.
yes.
I think you've sent only to Pragdish. It's fine.
Okay. Sir, I think we have sent on, no, that we have addressed to Pragdish. Maybe we can copy paste it and change the address here to here, come to
Over there. Sir.
to all.
Meeting group chat. Yeah, you did it.
So mail ID is shared, you can reach.
Yes, I think we skipped the 2 questions.
Yes,
in
yes.
the middle.
Mode of language in interview, you can answer Aman's question.
Yes. So, Aman, I feel UPSC has the generosity of having interview in multiple languages. You can opt for this different language if you can, and there will be a translator who will be helping. If Hindi is the language, then it's fine. You don't need a translator. You can directly converse with them. So English is not a matter of no.
She said because of weak in English, I cannot understand.
So yes, now UPSC has started printing booklets in both English and Hindi. So if you have good command over Hindi, then you are lucky. So you can also, once you study the English passage, you can also read through the Hindi passage and correlate it. So that way you can maybe perform better. And also, like, since you are almost a year away from your prelims exam, I'll suggest that you read newspapers every day, at least for 2 hours. Especially the editorial pages, because reading that you'll be able to pick up new words every day. And also the way they frame the sentences and the way the sentences that are given in CSAT passages, they're almost similar. Once you read it every day, you'll be able to understand the editorial, and that will help you in reading the passages in a better manner. So this has to come over a period of time. Maybe since you're a year away, you're very much on track. If you can read the newspapers, you can overcome this problem.
And now, one more theory.
Current affairs strategy. Okay.
Yes.
So current affairs strategy, I think reading newspaper comes as the first part of current affairs strategy. Once you read the newspaper, I didn't take any new notes from the newspaper, but I read the newses and I read the background of those newses. Like when you read a newspaper, don't read the news just whatever is written. Go and read about the history of the issues. For example, if there is going to be a news about Israel attacking Palestine or something like that, you go and read about why Israel is doing this, why this Palestine, where it started, what are the treaties, what are the accords, everything. So every day when you are going the same thing, whenever there's a news coming, automatically your brain will know the history of the news. So that's one thing. Second is, if you are going to follow a monthly compilation, it's fine. And I would suggest follow one particular institutes. Don't go for 1 month this, 1 month that. Don't do that. If you're follow 1 month institute close to 6 to 8 months before the prelims, so that you have a hold on whatever is given in the institute's thing. And next is, sir, can you please share the recording of today's? I think.
Yes, we will share the recording and we will take more questions later. So now I must congratulate again with this small. This is for you, the book on
Thank you.
governance in India, soul and structure of governance in India, and everyone would be receiving this.
You should
And
come
I
inside.
wish all of you, and I wish you had a great career.
Thank you, sir.
Read this book. It will
Definitely.
give you insights about Indian bureaucracy
Definitely, sir.
and this.
Thank you.
And this is for you, Monica.
Yes, sir.
I
Thank you
wish
so much, sir.
you have a great career.
Yes, sir. Thank you so
And
much.
I'm sure something written in this book will guide your total career.
Yes,
Have
sir.
a happy career.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Enjoying
so much, sir.
career.
Thank you so much, sir.
Everyone, thank you very much. And I'm waiting for you to be here and take the same reward. And this is waiting for you. Thank you very much. And you can ask more queries. Mail IDs have been shared with you. So that's all for today. So now we are concluding this meet. Thank you. Some queries might be there. You can ask queries directly from Shiva also, Monica also.
And also with sir's permission, we'll once we create our Telegram group, we'll share it with sir so that if possible,
Definitely.
yeah, you can also get benefited from
Yes.
the notes which we took, and also answer
Yes,
topics can be.
you create a joint Telegram. No?
Yes.
Yes, sir. We'll do it.
So that will be shared.
Yes, sir.
Okay, everyone. So prepare well, self-confidence, focus. This is all required. Thank you.